Kansas was the next race. Finally, getting on something that I would know, oval, and
holy,
I know.
We just saw a bunch of bicyclists like go into each other like a bunch of.
That's gonna leave a mark.
Yeah, it is.
So, X-Men had the lead, and he would go into the corners, and you could he would clip the apron and get loose, but I could never get a run on the outside to where I could pass him. So I just basically held my ground. But behind me, DNA made a mistake. He slipped up a little bit. SAVATS was able to get underneath of him and make the pass to get into third place.
And the reason that I did that was because at that point I realized I wasn't going to have enough fuel to make it to I had to pit again. So I knew that my time was short. I only had, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 laps at that point of fuel left in my car. So now my attention turned to, because I knew Butch was second, I said if I can get up there and help him, then that's what I'm going to do, because I'm going to have to pit. And I know that the other guys I'm running with, the front runners, didn't have to pit.
Right. So we were running, and like I said, X-Men was in front of me, and I now had SAVATS, my teammate, behind me. And I clicked up TeamSpeak and I radioed to him that I'm going to go to the outside. Let's get around him. We pulled to the outside to make the move, and thankfully with the push from my teammate, not a true actual,
not a physical,
not a physical push, mind you, because that's illegal.
Yeah.
Just an arrow push. I was able to get up around X-Men, and I ended up winning the race. And unfortunately, it was.
That was my worst finish
ever. That was your worst finish ever. Finished 14th.
14th, yeah.
So, then we, the next race was Indianapolis, the month of May.
Yeah, baby.
And we went through the whole month of May deal. All the practices, the 4-lap qualifying format, everything. SAVATS was fast enough. He qualified in the middle of the front row. I had a couple little, I don't want to say issues, but I made a few little mistakes on my qualifying run.
I didn't get the pole, but I just want to point out real quick that who's the teammate that I qualified for? Our teammate? Chad, I qualified because Chad couldn't make qualifying, so I qualified his car, and my 4-lap average was quicker than, that's right, DNA and R1. Quicker than his, so I'm very, very proud about that.
Right.
Just wanted to point that out. I did end up qualifying fastest.
And how many cars did you qualify?
Let's see, mine.
You qualified Chad's,
Charlie's. That may have been it.
That may have been it, but
I may have qualified one more, but at least 3.
I qualified middle of the second row. I qualified 5th. I was quite happy with that. I just wanted to be up near the front. And then come race day, I don't know why the admins couldn't get the field set properly, and they pretty much had everybody set up except for me. And I ended up getting
25th. Where'd you start?
No, I started 18th.
18th.
We get into the race, and I figure, okay, I'm just going to work my way up. Patience. Patience pays dividends. It's a long race, and very, very early. I don't think we were 5 laps into the race. I get Fitch slapped. Guy in the league named Fitch who has a tendency to wreck a lot, and
he could be going down. Nothing against Fitch as a person, but he could be going down the straightaway, and then all of a sudden, in the middle of the straightaway, he just does one of those unexplainable. I don't know.
And that's that is exactly what happened to me. We were heading down the front straight, prepping to go into turn 1, and suddenly his car just turned left and hello wall. Basically, it destroyed my car. The engine caught fire. That was my race, so I was done. During that event, SAVATS.
Oh yeah, I was a lap down. I didn't have. Iceman was leading the race. The guy they call Iceman. Probably because he has no personality. That's my guess. But
and he talks in a monotone voice, much like this, because he doesn't know how to. Okay.
Yeah, and he talks very monotone. That is very correct, but you are not incorrect about that assessment. But so he's leading the race, and the way IndyCar is set up, you have a lucky dog. If you're the first car, in line, like a lap down or whatever.
Just like NASCAR.
Just like NASCAR. So, I'm in line for the lucky dog, and I'm sitting behind Iceman, and I'm not conserving fuel. I knew nobody was conserving fuel. And, I catch him, I go around him, and I'm like, I'm just going to stay. It didn't matter whether I was in front of him or behind him. So once I got around him, I think 3 or 4 laps later. 3 laps later. Well, Mike had an incident in turn 3.
Mike Bourne.
He came off the corner. I don't know what happened. He hit the wall. He spun going down the back stretch. Ended up in turn 3, and the yellow did come out. And right away, DNA, by the way, who didn't race. He got the pole for the race, but didn't race. He had his eyes on what was going on with FBR the whole time, because right away Mike said sorry or something, and DNA was like, yeah, right. It's like, oh, so you've been watching? Okay. Well, anyway, I go on to win the race, and then they disqualified me and Mike Bourne because they say that there was a team conspiracy to bring out a yellow flag, but I argued all kinds of points, you know. But when you got the cards stacked against you and the administration stacked against you like it was, you know, you can't win a situation like that. So I took that one on the chin. I won the race, you know, fair and square. I know it. Butch knows it. Mike knows it. I think most of the drivers in IndyCar know it. And you know, honestly, I think that the admins know it too. One of the Penske cars just crashed. It must be Briscoe because Castro Neves is running third right now. But you know, it is what it is, and so I just accepted it, and we moved on to Texas.
Did I make Texas?
Yes, you did. You had problems. You started in you didn't have a very good qualifying run.
No, I didn't.
You started in
That's
the back,
right.
and you got hit under yellow a couple times.
Yeah.
Actually, I just showed.
Yeah, we the next race was in
showed
Texas.
Amy that race.
Yeah, that's right. We went to Texas, and that's where the next race was, and I had a very, very crappy qualifying run. It's the worst qualifying run I think of my life, just about. Worked my way up.
I think you got up to about 8th.
I was in 8th,
Yeah.
and yellow had come out. All of a sudden, I start getting hit under yellow. I got hit about 6 times under yellow by various drivers.
People got bottled up.
People just getting bottled up, not paying attention and whatnot. Basically destroyed my entire car, and that was pretty much my last race with IndyCar. Just basically fed up with the way that the league was being run. They forget the admin commands. Or they don't know them, one or the other.
Oh, that's right. We ran. That's right. We ran
Milwaukee.
I forgot about that.
That's right. I forgot about Milwaukee.
Milwaukee was right after Indy.
Yeah, Milwaukee was right after Indy. I'm sorry to step back here, kind of out of sequence, but Milwaukee was right after Indy, and this great new track that DNA helped make or tested and everything else. We go in, and not only was there a shared pit stall in the event, but there were no yellows. There were no yellows. We had cars going everywhere, and the yellow flag never came out. Actually, no, I can't say that. The first lap, the yellow flag came out. Somebody spun or something stupid like that, and the yellow flag came out.
Right at the green flag.
Right at the green flag, the yellow flag came out, and that was the only yellow flag of the entire event. I mean, we had a driver sitting sideways across the front straight for almost a lap and a half.
Yeah.
Who couldn't apparently. couldn't apparently get it in his head. Hey, maybe I ought to move my car out of the fucking way. I don't care about you.
I think I could delete that.
Yeah, sorry. I think it was Billo I freely admit it. Billo was driving a great race.
Oh yeah.
He deserved that win, and lo and behold, this guy that's sitting in the middle of the track never moves. And Billo basically clobbered him on the front straight. So that was a big fiasco. And after the race, you know, we're all on TeamSpeak, mind you, and everybody is bitching and complaining, wondering why there's no yellows. After the race, the guy who preaches all the time. I'm sorry, I put my hand up and it's right in front of your face. The guy who I'm Italian, I talk with my hands. The guy who preaches about, you know, oh, got to be professional, got to do this, got to do that, doesn't even know the admin commands to throw a yellow. If you're going to be the one making decisions and making calls on things that are happening in a quote-unquote adult world, you have to have the maturity to handle that. And I just don't think that's the case.
You can't play favorites.
Exactly.
You know, kids always do that. Oh, what's the problem?
You won't leave me alone.
Okay, great. I'm doing this for.
I need to